said, let's go to trial. And my lawyer said, listen, if we go to trial, we're going to win. The only thing is that it's going to cost your parents money to go to trial.
This man has a countdown timer on this video. He's actually making this into a full production. He's teased it on his Instagram and now he has a countdown timer. This guy thinks this is a joke.
I believed I was going to be on a big podcast and someone was finally going to ask me, hey Ben, why were you in jail?
What is he talking about? If you go on a podcast, you can easily tell a host, hey, I want to talk about this issue. I've heard the issue of Ben Azoulay getting arrested. It has came up in podcasts before. He could have easily mentioned this. Bro, you have 500,000 subscribers on your channel on both YouTube and Instagram. Now, it's up for debate how many of those are real, but you could share it yourself. You don't need a podcast. One of my biggest pet peeves with this guy is he likes to talk about how he's Jewish. It doesn't matter one bit what ethnicity you are. If you go out here and you do something with a child, you deserve all the scrutiny you get. It doesn't matter if you come from the Middle East, you come from Asia, Africa, South America, North America. I don't care if you're a penguin in Antarctica.
You clearly know the stories about Andrew Tate, Donald Trump. You guys know Cristiano Ronaldo.
But none of these people are Jewish. One of the underlying themes of this whole video is a lot of famous people who do well get accused. So, yeah. Andrew Tate, Donald Trump, Ronaldo, none of them went into court and pleaded guilty for the charge they were accused of. That's the big difference. Let's go back to the night in question.
This girl was very adamant about getting somebody to hook up with her.
The craziest part about that is he claimed this girl had sex with another guy.
And I told him, you guys cannot go in my house. If you want, you guys could do it here. So they tried it in front of everybody.
What the hell? That is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There is zero chance. This guy's had days or maybe even a week now to actually come up with a logical story. Complete garbage.
Things happen when you're a young adult.
Yeah, things do happen. But you know what doesn't happen? A child. That does not happen. And he claims that he didn't know how old she was or whatever. It doesn't matter because two things. Number one, if this girl's 15, there's no way you mistake her for being a freshman in college. Let's be real about it. If someone is 17 when they say they're 18, maybe you could slip under the radar. But 15? No way. But going even beyond that, it's his party at his house. It's his responsibility to make sure that there's no minors in the house. If they're not friends, how did they get there in the first place, right? So he had to know that this girl was not of age. Even if he didn't know, it's still his responsibility since it's at his house to either ID people, make sure they're of age, or what?
There was something else that came with it. And I'm sure you could guess what it was. It was a $50 million lawsuit.
I'm calling bull honky on that. Let me tell you why. There's no reason why this girl would sue for $50 million. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the most famous footballers in the world, had a suit and he settled for roughly $300 and some thousand.
Portuguese soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo will not play in upcoming international matches after being accused of...
Mayorga reported the incident to police and took a medical exam, but refused to name the soccer star. She later accepted $375,000 and signed a non-disclosure agreement to keep her claims quiet.
Not 50 million. And Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he's a billionaire. But he wants me to believe that this random 18-year-old kid who, according to him, doesn't have anything and was kicked out and homeless is being sued for $50 million. Right.
When the judge looked into it, and the DA looked into it, and the officers and doctors, they realized that there wasn't a...
If you had information that someone is accused of a crime like this, but you knew they are innocent and it didn't happen, you would go right down there to the court and you would tell them to get that person acquitted. But why is it, if multiple people around this case knew that this trial still proceeded, why was it not thrown out? Because Ben can't stop lying. Amidst all the lies, he said perhaps the most disgusting thing of the entire video, where he went and defended the age gap between him and this 15-year-old girl.
She was about less than 2.5 years younger than me. I just turned 18. She was right about to turn 16. Less than 2.5 years younger than me. Imagine yourself being today a 25-year-old man, and you're dating a 22.75-year woman. That was the difference between me and her.
If you're 25, you're 22, no, that's not a very big difference. But when you're 18 and she's 15, that's a crime, and it's sick.
Her family was so adamant, so pushy about the $50 million that eventually something took a turn. I sat in court and the judge asked, I have a question. Is it about the $50 million or is it about justice for your daughter?
I'm about to tear this man's claims up. What you gotta know, there's a difference between civil court and criminal court. Criminal court is his charge in the case, civil court is his charge for the $50 million. This claim that the judge said, are you after the money or justice, is completely pointless, because when you're in civil court, that is what the court can offer you as restitution, money. So justice, in terms of being punished, wouldn't come on the civil side in this $50 million claim, it would come on the other side on the criminal case. Beyond that, it's not the job of a civil court judge to question someone's motives, whether it's for money, justice, or whatever. The only thing that matters is, was someone harmed and is there evidence to prove it? If a judge was to ask a question like that, it would be extremely inappropriate and almost guarantee grounds for an appeal.
So they asked for the daughter to come and speak, and she didn't want to speak.
If you know anything about law, you know witnesses all the time are hesitant to come forward because of the scrutiny that might come from it, the trauma of seeing someone that's done something traumatic to you, and that happens on a lot smaller magnitude than what happened in this case.
The judge gave us an offer. The judge came and said to my lawyer, look, I could remove the $50 million because the lawsuit was on me, it was my parents' house, it was on the homeowner's insurance, and it was on my parents.
The claim the judge can magically make this $50 million lawsuit disappear is a complete lie. Regardless of what happens on the other side, whether he pleads guilty, goes to trial, or whatever, that's criminal, this is civil. Even still, a judge can't just throw a lawsuit out just because they feel like it or because the ask is too high. There has to be a real reason to throw it out, or the plaintiff has to remove their claim, which didn't happen. It just shows how much this guy's lying about.
The judge says, listen, I have a great deal and we can finish all of this. I'll tell them to remove the $50 million lawsuit because what they need is real justice. But I'll also let them know that there wasn't any and that they're going to lose this case regardless.
He actually went online and claimed this is what happened. Let's break this down. A judge is not going to go to someone and tell them to drop a charge. Judges have to remain impartial, and frankly, it's not the judge's place to go and say what you can and can't sue for. Like I've said, this is on the civil side, not the criminal side. So he says they deserve justice. What type of justice are you going to get outside of money? But then he follows it right up by saying there was no but the family deserves justice. So what justice are they going to get if there's no Also, if the judge acknowledges there's no in the first place, why are we even having this discussion? It defeats the whole point. This guy seems to be allergic to the truth. Then he claims that the judge or the lawyer says that he'll win the case. That would be A1 definition of something that would get a mistrial and they would be right back in that court again. Imagine if you went to court and you walked in there and the judge said, "What's up, my boy? You're gonna win on the defense. This is an easy case." No, it doesn't work like that. The judge has to be impartial. He claims the girl was going after his parents' assets. Now, this might or might not be true.
I wanted that removed more than anything.
It's so clear that he's saying this to try to make himself look good. Oh, I'm gonna sacrifice myself to make sure my parents' house is safe, everything is okay.
All of it will be expunged off of his record. He'll spend 30 days in jail to make it seem like it's a lot. And he'll be done with it. So he comes to me and tells me about the deal. And I say, but they will remove the lawsuit, the $50 million lawsuit off of my parents and everybody? He says yes.
Let's talk about this load of bull because just about everything he says is completely backwards. We've already talked how there's the criminal and the civil side, but in the beginning of that clip, he said that his record would be expunged. Basically, this would be wiped off of his record. He can walk away clean. It is possible under California penal codes to have certain crimes expunged from your record. However, sexual crimes involving those underage are specifically noted as much harder to get rid of, and for good reason. He could petition the court in the future to remove it, but the fact that they would expunged expunge it immediately, extremely unlikely. What's also unlikely is he got 30 days in jail. That would be extremely lenient, meaning either he had a very good lawyer or the evidence was very weak. But if he had a really good lawyer and the evidence is very weak, why are you taking a deal in the first place? But notice what he said in there. He said, I'm going to sentence him to 30 days to make it seem like a lot. Courts do not care one bit about optics. Punishments are handed out by the system, not by what it looks like to an 18-year-old kid.
Sometimes in life, it's better to be the smart one and not the right one.
But this guy said the whole time that he's gonna win. His lawyer said he's gonna win. The judge said he's gonna win. Everybody said this didn't happen. Even if you wanted to save your parents' house or this or that, if you were innocent, why in the world would you plead guilty? Because the story he just said is nothing more than a pile of burnt, soggy marshmallows. And he claims he got 30 days in the county jail for this. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but if it is, that is an absolute travesty to this victim and the justice system. It's exactly what I said in my last video about this clown, that this is why our justice system is the laughingstock of the world, because people can go out and commit crimes and get off the hook. And he loves to talk about all these celebrities who've been accused or these athletes. Yeah, people get accused, and there are people out there who make accusations with the sole purpose of trying to take money. But the difference between Azoulay and Kobe Bryant or Ronaldo, they're famous and they have money. 99.9% of people on YouTube or Instagram have no idea who this clown is. And at this time, he had no money. According to him, he's homeless. But all is not lost, guys, because this was a life-changing event for Ben. He is now a truly reformed alpha man who's set on the right path. By the right path, I mean an extremely controlling path.
I made sure that she texted me, that she misses me, that she wants to come over, she wants to spend time with me. If I drove her home, I made sure that she lets me know that she's upstairs and she had a great time and to thank me.
Bro, this is textbook controlling, and it gives a lot of merit to what John Bravo came out saying, how he's been in relationships and the girls accuse him of being violent or aggressive towards them.
And she also told me about the abuse she suffered while she was with Ben. And some of the injuries she suffered are lifelong injuries.
Check out John Bravo's video for that if you want to hear about it. But just saying stuff like that, like, I demand you say thank you. I demand you tell me you had a good time. Who does that? At the end of the day, the truth will always set you free. Not going and making up an elaborate story like this, which makes no sense in nearly any direction you turn. Because just after he finished that, he started into his BS.
Each and every fight, I could have been in jail for longer.
You're not fighting anybody, bro. And then he says he's a millionaire at 21. How are you a millionaire at 21? You're homeless at 17, you're arrested at 18, now you're a millionaire at 21. Nobody knows what you've done. You don't seem to do it today because all you do is go online and talk about your success. This guy's not a millionaire. He might be a millionaire in Vietnam Dong. I seriously think this guy lives in his own world. He swears this was a life-changing event and they've led him to not drink or party. And then in the same sentence, he says he goes out from time to time with his friends and drinks and parties.
I could have continued to party and drink alcohol. I stayed away from alcohol and parties after that. Of course, I went here and there to party.
This guy can't even decide what lie he wants to say. He says he's went and conquered the world. He's traveled to all these places.
I went to Bali, Indonesia. I went everywhere. Everywhere. I went all over. I lived for some time in Romania. I went to Moldova.
No disrespect to if like the two Moldovans who might watch this video, ain't nobody going to Moldova. That's how you know it's bull honky. He ain't doing that. He's not conquered anything. He has some subscribers online and it's pretty clear to see a lot of his subscribers aren't actually real, so it's bots or paid subscribers or something, because his engagement is only a fraction of his sub count.
But remember, you will never see a hater do better than you. I shared my story and there'll be more to come.
I have to admit, I took a little bit of offense to that, because I just made a video covering this guy and he says he's doing better than me. Hold on there, big dog. Let's pull up the numbers. His channel's only doing a fraction of what my channel's doing, despite his channel being around for years and my channel being around for only 2 months. But he's the real conqueror. He's the real big dog, yeah. I don't want to make the karate master mad. Oh, you know, he's got that taekwondo training, the Shaolin monks, whatever. Ooh. And to end this video, he ended it with the most obvious lie ever.
I'm glad I got to share this story with you guys, because I've been wanting to do it for a long time.
You've had 2 years to share this. The only reason he brought this up is because John Bravo found out about his past, someone exposed it, and now he's been called out. If nobody called this guy out, he would have went to the grave not telling anyone the atrocities that he did. I've lost track in this video counting all the lies that this guy has said. I said it before in my last video, and I'm gonna say it again in this video. I'm absolutely disgusted that he can go and genuinely make a video like this, try to put the blame on the victim, and weasel his way out of it. It's always everyone else's fault. Forget an alpha man, you're not even a man at all if you can't accept the responsibility when you do something wrong. We all make mistakes. Some mistakes are worse than others, like we can see in this case, but a true man goes and says, you know what? I did it, I was wrong, I was young, I apologize. But he can't do it. His ego is so inflated that he has sat for a week and came up with these elaborate stories to try to explain himself out of it, and this guy is gonna try to milk this as much as he can to get the small little amount of views and engagement that he can get. The only reason I made this is because he posted this video throughout the week and he hyped it up like 3 or 4 times like, oh, I'm about to drop this banger video, guys, be ready, be ready. It's not a Mr. Beast premiere. It's the lowest of the low trying to defend their disgraceful, disgusting past. I think I'm gonna start posting more videos throughout the week as events come up, you know, kind of doing some live updates as well, just to keep the channel going a little bit more. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comment section. I still have a video coming out this Sunday, and next week, hopefully if I get it done, I have a video on Grant Cardone. You guys have really asked me for it. I'm gonna come through, so make sure you guys are there for that. But until then, y'all have a nice week, and I'll see you on Sunday.